Hi everyone, welcome to Sydney Scenic Trails series. Today I'm with a special guest, Ian Hutchinson, who had an event, for want of a better word, last year. I was very interested to speak to him because with the trail running and defibrillators, because at the moment, defibrillators are hard to find as they are. You can find, they're in public places, supposed to be, but I'll let Ian tell you his story first about what happened last year, about a year ago.
Well, actually, Steve, it was 13 months ago, exactly today.
Oh, okay.
So this morning at 10:30 is my 13th anniversary of what we can kind of say is of my death. And I was cycling around Narrabeen Lagoon with my mate on a regular bike ride I do every week with him, and I think that I'm a fit, healthy guy, not as probably fit as you, obviously, but a fit and healthy guy. I like to keep fit. I just cycled around Europe for a couple of weeks, a couple of months earlier, and then had this sudden cardiac arrest. I was clinically dead for 19 minutes all up. Wow. And luckily enough, I was with my mate who jumped in, rang 000, got into CPR. I was very lucky to have a couple of bystanders there who were also CPR trained, who jumped in, and 3 people worked on me. And we joked that my mate's the one who actually broke through my ribs. Right. But that's because he was doing CPR properly. Yeah. Right. So I was then taken to Royal North Shore Hospital, and I was there for 2 weeks. At the end of those 2 weeks, I actually got an internal defibrillator put in my chest, so I feel pretty lucky. I've now got this around, which is basically this thing here.
All right.
So it's basically a little defibrillator. It's got 2 cables into either side of my heart, but what it does is it gives me a bit of peace of mind that if this sudden cardiac arrest happens again, which I found out the difference between a cardiac arrest and a heart attack is the cardiac arrest is electrical issue, can happen to anyone. Yeah. And a heart attack is typically your clogged arteries plumbing issue, which is typically an unhealthy person, diet, lifestyle, those sort of things. Yeah. So, it's pretty scary because there's 25,000 deaths per year from a sudden cardiac arrest, one every 20 minutes in Australia.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Because I did a CPR course, and I used to teach it actually as a scuba dive instructor. Oh, right, yeah. But I didn't know the difference. For a defibrillator to work, your heart still has to be, but it's an uneven rhythm, isn't it?
Yeah,
it kicks back into.
Yeah, the only thing that will restart a heart is the electric shock from a defibrillator. Okay. Yeah. But there has to be a certain type of rhythm in your heart. If you're flatlined, you can't. But there's still in most cases, an electrical pulse in there, and that's why it's important to get a defibrillator on as quickly as possible. Yeah. They say every minute you don't do CPR and get a defibrillator on the person reduces their survival rate by 10%. So, I was well, I'm not going to say lucky, but the ambulance came in 10 minutes, which is the average time in the city in Australia. Yeah. So I was right on the threshold of, not getting me back. So that took, I think it was 2 to 4 shocks to get me back. Right. And they still, when they got to hospital, didn't know if I was going to survive or not. And I was in a coma. They put you in a coma on an ice bed for somewhere between 1 day to 4 days. I popped out the next morning, which is lucky. My mate didn't know whether or not he'd done it properly and I was going to survive, so he had a pretty bad night. Yeah. My partner and my daughter had pretty bad nights because they didn't know if A, I was going to survive, or B, be brain dead. Yeah. Because it only takes 4 to 6 minutes for the brain to die or get damaged if you're not getting oxygenated blood to the brain. So that's why CPR is so important, because it keeps oxygenated blood going to the brain until a defibrillator comes.
So you were blissfully unaware of all this.
I was just exactly. I had the easiest job on the planet. Luckily, I think I did anyway. So luckily, everyone else was racing around trying to save me.
Well, this is the thing. You were on Narrabeen Lake, so this is accessible the whole way round, pretty much.
Well, it's accessible from running and cycling,
Yeah.
but the funny thing is, it took about, because there was no street address, where it's actually quite difficult to find out where people are.
Yeah.
It took about 4 minutes, and I can play some of the AAA phone call if you want.
Yeah.
It took about 4 minutes to actually find the location, and this is another reason why the number one life-saving device you can have is your phone, because you're going to be able to ring AAA. But if you want to get an A+, in phone management and life-saving rescue, the key is to have this app called Emergency Plus.
Okay.
So that's what it looks like. And if everyone's got Emergency Plus on their phone, the nice thing about that is this has been developed by emergency services and AAO, and it tells you where you are from a GPS perspective, so longitude, latitude, as well as any closest crossroad. So I've just opened it up and hit one button, and then I can press that button, and then that will say, do you want to ring AAO? And I would hit yes, and straight through to AAO. And if it's all done via the app, then you've got everything at your fingertips there. But my mate was floundering around, because even though he lived in the area, he didn't know.
Yeah, oh sure.
Because he was in shock, he'd forgotten the closest crossroad, or
I like that. I'm even unsure if I came in this, would I do 999 ring from England?
Well, there you go. Well, apparently the good news is I believe it still goes through.
Okay.
So they've got some, but the key is get the Emergency Plus app, and that's what it looks like. That's like number one tip. 101. That's what you need to do. So and in fact, a lot of people don't even ring AAA. The research shows, because they're almost ashamed of it, or they don't know if this is a bad enough situation. And I would say just ring AAA. They will diagnose the situation for you quickly. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And they coach you through CPR and the whole thing. In fact, why don't we roll some of the tape, and so this is about a minute extract from the 10-minute call, which I got through Freedom of Information, and we got it from purely to almost as from a training perspective. So
ambulance emergency, what town or suburb?
So this is 2.5 minutes in now. They've found out where they are.
Wait, stay with me. Is he awake? No, he's not. He's not. Now, is he breathing? No, he's not. Stay with me. Okay.
Diagnosing the situation.
I'm organising some help. Stay with me, okay? Okay. Now, is there a defibrillator available?
One of the first questions is, there a defibrillator?
Okay.
You can hear her voice going on.
Resuscitation. Okay.
It's 4.5 minutes in. She's now coaching CPR.
Now place your other hand on top of that hand. Now pump the chest hard and fast, at least twice per second and 5 centimetres deep. Okay? Until help can take over. Now count out loud and I'll count with you, okay? And let me know when the ambulance is with you. Okay? Now if there's someone can keep an eye out for it and wave them over.
So then they've got someone on the road trying to wave down an ambulance. Okay, but that's a segmented extract 10 minutes. So it took 10 minutes before the ambulance arrived. But as you can see, really, really important to have the app. If they'd had the app, they could know exact location. If you don't know CPR, at least they'll coach you through it. And they also is there a defibrillator? How important it is to have a defibrillator in handy, because that would have been the thing. That's the only thing that restarts our heart with an electrical issue.
So apart from the fact that you lived, there's a really good thing.
So far, good.
Well, you've had 13 months. I mean, come on. There's another really good thing that's come out of this, and that is you are getting other people to do CPR. Yeah,
well, what we found, my mate Donnie and I, what we sort of looked at each other a week or two after me coming out of hospital, and we went, hang on a sec, he was panicking. He hadn't done CPR properly. We said, well, both of us, we hadn't done CPR training since we were at Boy Scouts type thing. Right. So 40 years ago, lots changed with, how you do CPR and how important it is. And by the way, my mate Donnie drew the short straw. He had to do mouth to mouth, but we're a lot closer now. I don't remember any of it, luckily. As you pointed out, I was actually dead, but his wife assures me he's a very good kisser. All right, So what we actually realised was how important it is to get. Do you have to get certified for?
Yes, from a business.
For your business
point of view, yeah.
So there's a lot of compliance, physios, personal trainers, people who work childcare, all that sort of stuff. You have to get CPR certified. Now, we went and got CPR certified because now we're motivated to do it. We go, wow, what happens if it happens to another family and friend? Yeah. I'm lucky I've got a built-in defibrillator. By the way, I'm worth $30,000 more. But healthcare, luckily, pay for it. But the thing is, most people aren't motivated enough to go and get CPR trained. They go, it's a bit boring, it's not going to happen to me.
Never going to happen to me, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't think that either, and I regard myself as fit and healthy. So we said, well, hang on a sec, there seems to be a problem or a gap in the marketplace where we go, most people don't have time to go and get certified or the motivation to do it. So then we said, well, why... Let's not worry about people getting certified. Let's just get a bit more friendly. So what we've done now is create a website called cprfriendly.org, and it's all about just getting people CPR friendly. And there's a whole series of videos on there. There's a 5-second training video, 15-second, 3-minute, 10-minute, all training videos to help people quickly and easily get CPR friendly so they know what to do. Right. So the 5-second one is basically just ring 000 and they'll tell you what to do.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
If everyone did that, we'd save a lot of lives.
Yeah.
The 15-second one, which is the most popular one, is and they're done in a fun way. Is a bikey bit of tough love, just saying ring 000, start compressions, get a defib, try and get someone else to help you. Just a couple of quick tips and get in there. Don't be a pussy. Because you can't kill a dead person. Exactly, people are concerned that what if I do something wrong? A, you can't kill a dead person. B, any attempt at resuscitation is better than no attempt at resuscitation. And number 3 is that there's this thing called the Good Samaritan Act, which protects everyone legally as long as the right intentions are there. If you just have a go, try and save someone, you can't be sued in Australia, which is great. Yeah. So we're all about giving people online quick fun learning, but we're also been coordinating, almost being catalysts to getting surf clubs and trainers together, running CPR barbecues for people, street parties. We've run one in our street here. People then realise the importance of defibrillators, and then they go, well, let's chip in. Yeah. And we've now got a defibrillator in our street. Oh, wow. We've got one in the back of our car. Yeah. Right. 25,000 people die of electrical issue of the heart every year. People don't realise it, Yeah. It's right up there with more deaths than cancer each year, but people don't realise it. So getting CPR aware is really important. Running club events, all that sort of thing. We just come in and help run short, sharp events. It's all about people want to run one, we'll help run one for you. So it's not a money-making exercise. It's a life-saving exercise. So the other thing I thought would be useful is people kind of are scared, or when we came out of hospital, we go, well, defibrillators. The myth is they're scary things that are going to electrocute you if you don't use them. Yeah. Or if you don't use it properly, so people don't want to touch them. And they go, oh, they're all so expensive, and gee, what if I do it wrong? Can someone sue me? Which we've already discussed. So we're right into trying to get people to be much more aware of defibrillators. And I'll play the audio prompts from a defibrillator. So you've got a bit of an idea of how they work. And hopefully, we can just get an idea here. So there's some simple audio prompts. All you do with a defibrillator, press the button, turn it on. They're idiot proof. It just says call for help. It says remove clothing of the patient. So you've got to take the clothing off. This one here I'm showing you is also got visuals. It says locate the pads. So you get the pads. See how it's idiot proof?
Yeah.
And then you get the pads and you put them on here and here because you want to do electric charge through the heart. Apply pads to patient's bare chest.
Analyzing heart rhythm.
Yeah, then it does the rest. It's analysing now.
Not touch the patient.
Don't touch the patient because you don't want to get your pulse involved in the analysing.
Shock advised.
So, so now it charges and then you go, it says,
Stay clear of the patient.
because you don't want to get a zap.
Deliver shock now.
And then you
Press
pr-
the orange button now.
And it flashes. It's no brainer, right?
Delivered. Start CPR.
It tells you when
It
to
tells
start
you what to do. Start CPR. Even gives you a pulse. It's 100 to 120 a minute. And then use your upper body and push straight arms. It's quite tiring. And then ideally 2 breaths. Now, why 2 breaths? Because you need to, after 4 minutes, you need to continue oxygenated blood to the brain. That keeps the person alive. Then it goes through the cycle again after 2 minutes.
Do not touch the patient. No shock advised.
Yeah.
If needed, start CPR.
Okay, and then it goes. So it says there's only 2 reasons why there would be no shock advised, is because their heart rates getting back in sync again, and then you just roll them over into recovery position, and away you go. So it's as simple as that. They start from about $2,000. So there's also a new one coming out, which is a small. It's a small one. It's getting registered at the moment, so it's probably not going to be out till maybe the end of 2020. It's an Australian group in Perth, but they're only about as big as this iPad mini. And the idea is for one use, you snap it in half and it's got the 2 pads. So apparently they're only going to be a couple $100.
Wow.
But the battery life in them's shorter than the bigger units, which are some 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's going to be great because you can pretty much everyone can have one in the car. You can have running in your backpack.
Trail running, yeah.
Yep, whatever you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's going to be amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
And I'm sure it'll become part of mandatory gear for UTA.
Yeah.
You know, wheels running. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's really good. You're alive. It's good to see you.
Oh, yeah, it's good to be here. Good to be able to sit down and have a chat with you.
Yeah. So, do you just want to tell everyone again what the website is?
Yeah, it's called cprfriendly.org, and
I'll put it on the below this.
you can basically go to it there, cprfriendly.org, and it will give you a whole bunch of resources. It'll give you the links to those videos. Go into the learning section. The resource section's got a link to the app that I mentioned, Emergency Plus. There's also an app there that can help you locate defibs in your local area. So it's always good to know in advance where the defibs are.
Okay.
So this one's called AED Pulse Point, and it is an app. So we're right here in Newport, and you can see on the screen it will show you where your location is. Of the closest app, of the closest defib, and then you can just press. I can just press on that now, and it will then give me a bit more information about where it is, what it is. Hopefully a photo of it, and then you can just flick across, and it'll then tell you where the next closest one is. There's one at the surf club. Yeah. So in your local area or places you go to quite regularly, or if you're working environment, it'd be good to jump on that just so you know where your closest defib is anyway. Okay. And you need to know that before anything happens.
Yes. Yeah. Well. It's all really interesting, and I mean, what the thing that gets me is that it used to be triathlete.
Yeah, I did three Ironman triathlons.
Right.
Yeah.
So nobody's safe.
And apparently 5 people under 35 die every week in Australia from the electrical sudden cardiac arrest. So it doesn't matter how fit you are, it doesn't matter what age you are. the electrical issue of the heart can happen to anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. Well,
It's not great.
no, but it's great to know that if we're prepared, then we can overcome.
Yeah.
That,
The only thing that's going to help.
down.
The best thing that's going to help any emergency situation, life-threatening situation, is preparation.
Yeah.
And I think that's just to be aware what to do, have the apps, know where your closest defib is, don't be scared of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that, Ian. And like I say, good to meet you again. So yeah, guys, the links down below on this blog, and if you want to visit Sydney Scenic Trails as well, and the Facebook page, we'll put some more information on there. And as soon as we've got any information on these portable pads, not portable or portable, but the smaller pads, then
Portable defib.
we'll let you know. And and have a party. Have a CPR party.
Yeah. Go to the website under the events section and or email us, and we'll send you out an event resources kit, so you can host your own event and your own
then
party.
you can have two parties. You can have one where you learn, and one when you've saved someone's life. There you go. Well, thanks, Ian.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay.
See you.
Cheers, guys. See you later.